everyone. For the first, let me introduce our member from Group 9, and my name is Kurnia Andeyani.R as the first speaker, and at the same time, we will open the discussions about solidarity and politeness and acting and conversing. However, here my part is to explain about to and both, which is one of the parts in solidarity and politeness material. And for the next material, like acting and conversing, will discussed by Jumarlina as the second speaker and Dhea Shalsabila as the last speaker. Okay, for the first, another type of social relations included in language is social distance or closeness between individuals, or relations of power and solidarity. Pronoun and functions of the second person pronoun to or both. There are indices of either pronoun, signals of relationships of power and solidarity, where power reflects relative superior status, social distance and familiarity, and difference, and solidarity reflects closeness, familiarity, common experiences, and shared intimacies. So, what is to and both? To and both talking about politeness and solidarity. There are two forms of pronominal which indicate distinctions between the uses of familiar and polite. Those forms are to or t and both or v. There are some languages with a similar t or v distinctions. For example, first Latin using to or both, and second Russians using T and V, and third Italian using to and they, and fourth German using do or sie, and fifth Swedish using do or ni, and the last Greek uses esi and esis. In sociolinguistic, to and both distinctions are a contrast within one language between second person pronouns that are specialist for varying levels of politeness, social distance, courtesy, familiarity, or insult towards the addresses. Okay, I think that's enough for me, and for the next, I will continue by Jumarlina and Dhea Shalsabila.
Address stance is the form of address that usually people use in the titles of occupation. When we open interaction or establish the first contact with the interlocutor, make sure we talk about other stance. Okay, the example is like, "Hey Rio," or "Good morning, Mrs. or Mr. Rina." But the first thing you have to know is, when we greeting someone like "Hey" or "Good morning," in others time, make sure you say with the name or the title of the people or of someone. Politeness itself is socially prescribed. This does not mean, of course, that we must always be polite, for we may be quite impolite to others on occasion. So, why we do politeness in using language? The answer is politeness to showing a sense of respect to others. We can see the speaker is polite or not from the high or low the speaking styles. Okay, the sentence of "Could you give me a cup of tea?" and "Can you give me a cup of tea?" Which more polite? Yeah, that's right. Could you give me a cup of tea? Acting and conversing. Acting and conversing in a language can used by speaker and interlocutor to do good communications. One of them is speech acts. Speech acts are commonly taken to include such acts as promising, ordering, greeting, warning or statements, inviting, and congratulating. Okay, I gave you an example of a speech act that describes a statement or warning. I am busy today. I'm busy today. Why this sentence shows a statement or warning? Yeah, there is busy today word. This is the example of speech act.
Chris lists four maxims that follow from the cooperative principle. 1. Quantity, 2. Quality, 3. Relation, and 4. Manner. In any conversation, only certain kind of moves are possible at any particular time. Because of the constraints that operate to govern exchange. This constraint limits speaker as what they can say, and listener as to what they can infer. The cooperative principle makes your conversational contribution such as is required at the stage at which it occurs by the accepted purpose or direction of the talk exchange in which you are engaged. Conversation must also be brought to a close. Pre-closing signals may be regarded as a sub-variety of mitigating expression used in conversation. Quite often, the close itself is ritualistic exchange of goodbye.